What have I gotten myself into?
Most people need a week to finish a 300-page book. I gave myself 3 days to read 1,744 pages. 3 fantasy books, no breaks, no excuses. And the worst part, if I fall behind even once.
This entire challenge is over. Let's start reading.
Hi, welcome to Chili's. Jump scare, I know. It is ass crack of dawn in the morning, 6:28 to be exact. I want to get a good head start on this book because the audiobook is 19 hours long. And I don't want to be scrambling at the end of the night trying to finish this book. Because as we all know, the objective of this video is to read 3 fantasy books in 3 days. How am I going to do that? I don't know, because this is a thick ass series. So to not delay anymore, let's go read.
Friend, grab a seat, grab a drink, because I got some shit to tell you about what's happened in the book so far. As with most, if not all fantasy books, this one begins in tragedy, and that's because Brianna Matthews discovered that her mom died in a hit-and-run car accident. Her and her father found it very weird that they weren't able to view her body at the hospital, finding it suspicious, but they couldn't do anything about it, so they honestly just had to move on with their life without the mom. But in the meantime, Bri got accepted into a college, UNC, so now she's going to be attending university. The night before classes are about to start, her and her girlfriends decide to sneak out of campus, which is prohibited and they could be expelled, in order to attend a party, or what they called a quarry. Of course, boys being stupid, these football players decide to get into a brawl, a huge fight at the party, and ultimately the cops were called. But while Bri was witnessing this fight happening, this random guy named Sal came up to her and told her to leave. Now when she witnessed the fight, she saw that there was a looming weird light hovering above these boys as they were fighting. And the crazy part is that she's the only one that saw the light besides Sal. Then out of nowhere, this person named Tora came out of nowhere, and she and Sal started fighting this invisible monster, which turned out to be some sort of demon. All while this crazy shit is happening, Bri is the only one that's able to see this, because number one, she's the only one that stuck around, and number two, the fighting boys didn't see it because they're fighting. But once the boys stopped fighting, then Sal has the ability to erase memories, and he did that to the 4 boys, so they walked away. No memory of what happened, almost in a drunken stupor. Fast forward the next day, Bri and her girlfriends, one of them actually got called to the dean's office, and they got a warning from the dean. Thankfully, they did not get expelled, but the one negotiation that he made with them is that they had to have some sort of mentor accompany them throughout the entire year. Lo and behold, Bri's mentor, I believe his name is Nick. He has the same ability that Bri has, but she doesn't know that she has some sort of ability yet. She just knows that she's able to see things that the average person is not able to see. So he begins to break down the hierarchy of the university that they both are attending. Come to find out, Bri is beginning to notice that her mother also attended this same university, and she was someone of high power and high stature at the school. This really reminds me of the Immortal Dark series, how the female main character in that book had a mother, in that case a family, who was unalive, all while having some higher power at the school that they attend, most likely going against the grain, and people at the university don't like when students don't follow the rules. I'm gonna get my ass home because it's like 90 degrees at 10 o'clock in the morning and continue reading.
I can't even lie to you guys right now. I am halfway through part 2 and I am a tad bit confused about what is going on right now, all honesty. So I had to go on Google and ask, what is happening in part 2? What is the political breakdown of what's going on right now? Because TRACY DEONN quite literally throws you into the political warfare that's going on at the school right now. So from what I've gathered, there is a magical hierarchy at this school. At the very top of the top, you have the Legendborns. Now these are the descendants of King Arthur's knights. Now each bloodline traces back to one of the Round Table's knights. So for example, there's Arthur's line, Lancelot's line, Gawain's line, and Kay's line. And only one heir, called a scion, carries each line's power within every generation. Now below the Legendborns are the pages, which is what Bri is. And these are teenagers training to serve the scions. So you can think of the scions as princes and princesses, and the pages as apprentices. A tier below that are the squires. Eventually, pages compete to become scion squires. You can think of squires as bodyguards or military partners, and in this case would be a magical companion. At this point, we're already established about who Nick is, and he is supposed to be allegedly the heir of King Arthur himself. And the equivalent of that would basically be the crown prince. Now Bree has officially become Nick's page, and she's getting entered into this secret society at UNC's early college program. Now there is an entire debacle that happened in the middle of the forest while they were doing this initiation to bring the pages into the secret society. A lot of people ended up getting hurt, including Bree, so now she is getting taken care of by a person by the name of William, who basically is a healer, and he's giving her the entire rundown since Nick hasn't had the time to. William is telling Bree about how the whole hierarchy works and how the order actually works within this actual secret society. And the order is not as strong as everyone leads people on to believe. People are already looking at Bree sideways because number one, she was able to see magic. Number two, her memories are not able to be erased because she had recollection of what happened to her mom the night that she was killed in the hit and run. She had a little blimp of memory about what actually happened for that event. So that's already odd in and of itself. And Bree doesn't fit because she's black. She's at a predominantly white institution right now. She's not wealthy and not connected to the order by tradition. So of course, as Bree being curious, she wants to investigate. So of course she joins the order. But joining the order is not her true objective. What she really wants to do is figure out what really happened to her mom and the real story about what happened, not the cover-up story that she was told. And at this point, I'm on chapter 16, page 142. I still have so much more to read, all of this shit. So I'm gonna go eat lunch, pop this book open while I'm reading, and continue listening and immersively reading. One thing that I am realizing about this book is that aside from the vast information that we're getting about the fantasy element of this, is that there is still a huge message about grief in this book. Bree is still grieving the loss of her mom. Everything Bree is doing right now is because she's trying to find answers about the real reason that her mom passed away in this hit and run car accident. If Bree's mom never died, if the accident never happened, number one, Bree would have never known about this world and she would have never entered this world in the first place. And by her doing this investigation, that is Bree's way of trying to control something that has been out of her control ever since the inception of the accident. Another thing that I'm realizing about this book is that it's using Arthurian legend to talk about grief, loss, power, and the sense of belonging in this new world for Bree. And the more Bree learns about the order, it's much more evident and obvious that she's trying to solve more than just a mystery of her mom. She's challenging a system for someone that was never meant to succeed in it and in the first place. And what I mean by that is that this entire system, this entire order is all based off of bloodline and based off of lineage, and the ancestors are in charge of everything. They're in charge of how much power someone has, what kind of powers they have. So it just feels like every time there's a question answered, 3 more questions pop up about something else that's going on or something else that's going to happen. But one thing that I do know for certain is that there is a ginormous war that's about to happen with this creature called a Camlin. I think I'm saying it right. It's basically one of the most powerful demon creatures, monsters, whatever you want to call it. It's coming. So we gotta brace for the impact this war is gonna have. So many interesting revelations have happened so far in part 3 of this book. Bree has come to find out that her mom was actually a scientist at the university, specifically in botany, which is the study of plants. So with that new revelation, Bree has discovered that there is another form of magic on top of the magic that the Order has. The reason that this type of magic is so important is because the Order thinks that their history is the only history that matters. Now, the Order preserves Arthurian history versus Rootcraft preserves ancestral history. I'm also finding myself questioning the Order more and more as Bree uncovers a lot of their deep, dark secrets that they have hidden for decades. Because 25 years ago, there was a gate intentionally opened by someone that has caused all the events that's going on today. So as of right now, I am on the very last section, part 4 of this entire book, page 375, and I have just over 100 pages left of this book, so I'm gonna power through.
Good morning, gorgeous.
Book 1 is complete. My mind is boggled. I was sitting there staring at the wall last night after I finished book 1. Initially going into the book, I did not realize it was going to be a King Arthur retelling. I have no knowledge of King Arthur, never cared for that sort of history, so I never knew the actual storyline behind King Arthur. And I think that's why I was most confused in the middle of the book, because she was breaking down the history of King Arthur on top of intertwining it with a fantasy element and putting her own little twist with black magic within the book. So I think all of that combined just confused the shit out of me. But toward the end of the book and at the end of the book, I started to understand everything that was going on. So now it makes sense. I'm caught up. Without spoiling anything from book 1, I can say that someone very close and important to Bree has been kidnapped, and the people that you trust most within your circle, you shouldn't trust. I think that's vague enough for you not to understand, but those that have read this series and that has already read book 1, you'll understand. But now I've moved on to book 2, Bloodmarked. I'm already on chapter 3, probably like, I don't know, page 50 or so. Something like that. And right now, Bree is trying to understand her new role in this book. Something major happened at the end of book 1, and now she has a huge responsibility to take on in the rest of the book 2, and I assume going into book 3. I think my plans for today is to take my son and I to the library. We haven't been in like 2 weeks probably, so I want him to get some energy out, have a little fun playing in the kids center in one of the libraries in our area. And in that meantime, I'm gonna definitely be listening to this audiobook, because this is a thick ass book. This shit is 551 pages long. And I barely finished the book yesterday, and that one was, 400 and something pages, maybe just touching 500. And I just barely finished it at 10 p.m. last night. So I really need to lock in today. I need to focus and listen to this book throughout the entire day.
What's that?
This has been the perfect segue of the story into the second book, because we are continuing into the turmoil of all the bullshit that's happening in the story. There's a lot of fighting going on, a lot of new demons and these foxes that are no good coming in. There's been new allies that have come to aid in this upcoming war that's about to begin. And Bree is struggling with her newfound role that was destined for her that she didn't know would be. On top of all that foolishness, Cell is pretty much getting framed for something that he had no hand in. He did not partake in at all, which is pretty messed up, because now he is of no use to Bree because he is not around. And don't forget that there's a looming war in the background that is destined to happen at any time. With that being said, I think I'm on chapter 15. I've been listening to the audiobook for the past 2 hours, so I don't know where I'm at in this book. I know I'm on chapter 15, so about 150 pages in. I'm about to go eat some lunch because I'm hungry. Obviously continue reading because I have a fat ass chunk left of this book. I hope I get this done by the end of the day. Man, I was bamboozled. I thought this council group of people were coming to aid in this war. They're just coming to interrogate and drug and try to pull information out of Bree. And I don't know how I feel about them drugging her every day, wiping her memory, and trying to pull information out of her when they're supposed to be allies with her and helping to get ahead on this war. Guys, I just received a package that I've been waiting on since last week, and I'm so excited to show you guys. I just got a new bookshelf. My man ordered this for me last week because I've been eyeing something to put under my TV since it's so bare. I was like, why not just get another bookcase? Duh. So this is my solution. I'm gonna be building this in a later YouTube video, so make sure you subscribe so you can watch that. It's gonna look so good, I can't wait. I feel like a reading machine right now, dude. I just sat down for the last probably 2 hours and muscled my way through almost 300 pages of this book. I just got to part 3 and a lot of shit has happened. I know I always say that, but a lot has transpired right now. So far, this part of the book has felt so much different than book number 1, Legendborn. Obviously. Instead of discovering a magical world, Bree is now dealing with the consequences of everything that she has learned. The political tension inside of the order has become much more evident, and the obvious tension is that no one wants a minority, especially a female minority, to be in power, without giving any spoilers away. And it feels like every group inside of this book wants a little piece of Bree for themselves because of what she possesses. What I'm beginning to find most interesting is that people aren't really asking anymore how powerful Bree really is. It's asking about what happens to people around them after someone who's not supposed to possess this power possesses a power. And because of all this, I'm obviously questioning who I should trust in this book, who is trustworthy, who we should throw to the wolves, where Bree belongs in this entire mess of a book, and whether the order even deserves to survive after this war, because the war hasn't even begun yet. Yes, it's creeping up to the war, but we're not even dipping a toe into the war yet, and so much stuff has happened. Okay, I'm sorry I did not update you last night about how book 2 ended, and it was wild. All I can say is that Bree has made a deal with the devil. She made a deal with the craziest of demons of all, just to keep her friends safe and to keep herself safe as well and alive. She wants to keep herself separated from her inner circle because that's the best thing to do right now, to keep everyone alive. I finished reading at 10:30 last night and passed out after I finished the book. And the only way that I'm gonna get through Oathbound today, because it is 600 and something pages, is I had to wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to start listening to this audiobook. I'm not even exaggerating. The reason I'm trying to get through this book quickly today is because my husband and I are going to a wine tasting event tonight, and that starts in the evening, like 5:30 to 7:30. So that's gonna be a 2-hour window where I'm not gonna be able to read. And for the last 2 days, I've been using the evening time to really hone in on the audiobook while I get some chores done around the house, feed our son, give our son a bath, and that's all gonna be delayed tonight. So I'm really concerned if I'm gonna finish this book today. I am well over 200 pages right now. I'm trying to find my spot in the book because I've been listening to the audiobook all morning, so I don't know what page I'm on right now. I would say around like 230, 240. And it's hard to give an update on the third book in trilogy because I don't want to give away any spoilers. So to keep it very broad and very vague, Bree has now encountered a set of twins that are gonna accompany her in her new endeavors. The reason she's doing that is because this deal that she made with this demon, it necessitates her having to form a relationship with this set of twins to upkeep her part of the bargain for the deal that she made with him. That's as broad and as vague as I can be without giving away any spoilers. As always, the stakes are high. There's always some kind of fighting going on, some kind of negotiation. And whenever a deal is made in this book, it never goes without some sort of consequence or some sort of collateral. There's always a collateral when it comes to bargaining in this book. Nothing comes for free, just like Rumpelstiltskin. And if you make a bad deal in this book, it will come around and bite you in the ass at the end. So enough chit chat. I really gotta tap into this book right now so I can get a good way into this book. I want to be at least close to halfway by noon. It is 10:27 a.m. so I need to get going. It's noon and I've made it exactly to 50% in this book. One thing I am appreciating a lot is that in book 3, we're getting different perspectives from the main characters within the series, like William, Mariah, who's a character you're gonna meet later in the series after book 1 going into book 2, I believe. I'm glad I made it to this milestone because I actually think I'm gonna be able to finish this book before I have to go out for the evening. And to be honest, I'm debating whether this should have been a spoiler vlog because I want to talk to you guys about this book so bad, but I can't really go into detail about it because if I do, it's going to spoil the entire thing. But the one thing that I can say is that it's always good to have good, solid, strong people in your corner because they're going to go to the ends of the earth to make sure that you come home safe. Is really starting to become her own worst enemy in the worst way possible because she keeps getting into these situations that are putting herself in harm, people that she knows and love in harm, basically almost to the brink of people being unalived, which is not good because a lot of them are main characters in the book. And I know that she wants to tap into her powers because she wants to have strength and control over her powers that she has possessed. But is it even worth it at the end anymore? To be honest. But many people in her life have resurfaced and she has no recollection of them because of what's happened at the beginning of book 3. So it's really interesting to see this dynamic and have them relive their friendships over again in a very dire situation. I just got to page 476 and that is chapter 45. I'm really making good progress right now because it is 4 o'clock on the dot and I only have this much left of the book. I probably won't be getting to the wine tasting till maybe 6:15, 6:30, so that should give us a good hour to unwind at the wine tasting, and then I will have some time in the evening and going into the nighttime after our son falls asleep to finish this book. So I'm really excited to see how this ends. I actually had to look up whether there was going to be a book 4 in this series, and initially TRACY DEONN wanted this to be a trilogy, but from what Google is saying, I'm not sure how accurate this is. There's going to be a book 4. I don't know how this book is going to end, obviously on a cliffhanger, but with everything that's going on right now and the situation that she and her friends are in, I don't know how they're going to get out of this. I don't know where the story's going to go from here, what the next steps are going to be, especially when a lot of secrets have been revealed that were not supposed to be revealed, and there's traitors among this group. Alright, quick little fit check before we step out. I'm always wearing this shirt. It's just a guest shirt I got years ago at TJ Maxx. These are some very ripped jeans I got from H&M years ago. Earrings are Amazon. A necklace and this chain with pearl bracelet is from Ana Luisa. You can use my link down in the description to get some money off of your purchase. And lastly, I just reached part 4. Ruthless. So that is just about 100 pages left of this book. I definitely need to take a break because my brain is like mush right now. I need a couple hours to debrief and let my brain breathe. And when I get back home, we'll read some more. You want to know what next season you breed? A stupid little girl. That's what he sees in you. Oh my God. Bravo, TRACY DEONN. This is such a good fantasy series. I was not expecting it to be this good. When I started the series, I was just expecting it to be a YA fantasy series about a young girl who has uncovered a secret society at her school. That premise alone had me on edge a little bit at first with the first book, Legendborn, so I was kind of weary going into book 2. But at the end of book 3, Oathbound, I realized that the King Arthur mythology just scratched the surface. This series became more than a story. It was about
memories, ancestry, power, grief, and the way institutions like to pick and choose stories that matter to certain people. The strongest element for me about this series wasn't only just the magic and the fantasy element. It wasn't really about the romance and the love triangle that's going on, or even the crazy ass plot twist that happened at the end of book 3. It's the way that the series was able to handle ancestry and history. It's making the stories just like Breeze come to light and to fruition, and to know that when you channel your ancestry and use your ancestors to help with your power and your magic, you can go a long way. Although Bree did piss me off a lot in this book, up to honestly the very last page, she has grown as a character in these 3 books tremendously. She's constantly asking questions and going against the grain. And even when she feels like she has gained a sense of power, she's still a human who is dealing with grief, responsibility, doubt, and fear, which are getting her into some really sticky situations. I will definitely say this series has pushed me out of my comfort zone. It has challenged me, it's challenged my brain, but it has taught me a lot because I had no knowledge of King Arthur and his entire mythology. And I definitely appreciate the King Arthur aspect and the magical aspect intertwining into one beautiful trilogy that is not completed yet. So if you need to decide to pick up a fantasy series, I would highly recommend this one. Anything that's been sitting dormant on your bookshelf, pick it up right now because I enjoyed this video so much. And for me, the Legendborn series is something that will be unforgettable. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.